A quarterback controversy in San Francisco? No. Welcome to the Cayman's Island podcast where we talk all things San Francisco 49ers. I'm your host, David Cayman. In today's show, we're going to be reviewing and doing some analysis on the 49ers' 41-22 victory over the Arizona Cardinals on yesterday. And there's a lot that I want to talk about in this one, a lot of good things, especially from my man, Brock Purdy. I think everybody can say right off the top, the offense definitely looked, we'll use the word different for now, with Brock Purdy at the helm of that offense. Not beating up on Mac Jones, not saying Mac did not do good things. In fact, in my opinion, Mac Jones did some great things filling in for Brock Purdy while Brock was down with that turf toe injury. What I will say is that definitely the offense is opened up when Brock's back there. I would say this, though. From watching the game, watching Brock, or playing a few plays, I feel like Brock definitely is not 100%. Maybe he is 100% physically, but maybe not 100% mentally. It definitely looked like he was being cautious. Typically, we see Brock make at least a few plays with his legs every single game. And I feel like there were some opportunities there for him to do that and make a few off-schedule plays there during the game. And he just, for whatever reason, he didn't do it. I didn't see any type of fluttering of the ball or any of the stuff that we saw in the Jacksonville game. And what I think that we have to come to terms with is that when Brock's healthy, man, he is a good quarterback. I know there's a lot of folks that feel like he's not worth the $53 million, this, that, and the other. And what I would say is this. I've seen enough from Brock and know that when he's surrounded with a solid cast of players, a decent cast of players, he can be effective. On yesterday, we finally had, Brock only took one sack yesterday. I think our line played very well. I know Colton got blown up. I'm not going to even say blown up, but he got beat around the edge for that one sack. And look, that's going to happen from time to time. But all in all, I thought the line kept him upright and clean for most of the game. That's check number one. Then you look at the receivers. Ricky Pearsall was coming back, first game back from being out several games himself. I watched him run his routes. He looked there, don't get me wrong, but again, it didn't show up on any type of plays on the field on yesterday. I think he'll get better and better week after week as time goes by. He'll work his way in there. I thought Juwan Jennings did okay. George Kittle was that dude yesterday. George Kittle had 6 receptions, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. And the biggest thing for me in the stats on this one is 6 targets, 6 receptions. You got Juwan Jennings, 4 receptions on 6 targets. You got Christian McCaffrey, targeted 6 times with 5 receptions. That's what you want to see, which led Brock to being 19 for 26, 200 yards, completing 73% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, quarterback rating of 133.5. So offensively, guys, we were just rolling. Okay, we were firing on all cylinders. There were a few passes, man, that Brock threw that I'm like, Brock, come on, man. But let's face it, guys, this is Brock. This is what he does. I would rather have a scenario where we're pushing the ball downfield and taking a chance from time to time, because that is really what opens up this offense. Kyle Juszczyk was even able to get a couple of very timely grabs in there, almost running wide open down the field because of the fact that defenses have to respect the fact that Brock is not looking for a 5-yard check down, which I know sometimes that's necessary. But the fact that Brock does bring another level to our vertical pass game makes defenses respect that. Now, before we sit up here and just say, man, Brock's back to 2023 form, he's an MVP candidate. Before we go, like I said, and I love me some Brock Purdy. I'm right there. I'm a big Brock guy. But the reality is that we played a very bad Arizona Cardinals team, which, to be honest with you guys, I felt bad for. They are, if it's even possible, more injured than we are. So I know what it's like to pull for a team that just cannot stay healthy. My heart goes out to those guys, and I hope they recover. I like James Conner, man. I like the way he plays. That's just that presence on the field, man, hurts their offense. And we're going to get into the defense in a little while. I know we gave up an NFL record, and folks are all up in arms about giving up all those yards to Jacoby Brissett and giving up all these completions. But the reality is, guys, is that come midway through the third quarter, we're playing as soft as can be, just trying to keep the big play in front of us, making them dink and dunk, chew up a bunch of clock. We're trying to get out of the game healthy. And that's something else I wanted to talk about as well. So offensively, the game was terrific. Defensively, we're going to say that there's giving up all those yards is a concern, etc. I feel like the game plan would have been a lot different had the game been marginally close at any point in that second half. We just rushed 4. We didn't try to send any blitzes. For goodness sake, we were in a soft zone so many times that I'm serious. I don't even think we were trying to do anything other than have them go 5, 6, 7-minute drives to just go ahead and get out of that game without injury. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I felt like D. Winters had a decent game. He had a nice tackle for a loss in this one. From an injury concern perspective, that's where I would say my biggest negative takeaway is from this game. I'm not going to get mad at the defense for giving up all those yards, all those completions. Look, in the scheme of things, it doesn't even matter. We were able to generate, brace yourself for this, 3 turnovers. We recovered a fumble, 2 interceptions. Diamondor Lenore, man, had himself a game when he was sitting there questionable. For a second there, I thought they were going to make that man inactive, and he ended up playing and showing out, right? So he had 7 total tackles. He had an interception, a nice return for a guy that almost didn't even play in the game. So the fact that we were +3 on the turnover margin against any team we've played against this year is a very big deal. However, you know how it is. We can't never have our cake and eat it too this season whatsoever. Right now we're 7-4, 3rd in the division, which is just fine considering what the Rams just got done beating the Seahawks on yesterday. And both of those teams are good, really good defenses. That game was even a good game on yesterday between those two teams. So the 49ers are right in the thick of it. I feel that where the negative piece of what happened yesterday, again, is coming on that injury front, man. Tatum Bethune left the game with an ankle situation and was unable to return. I fear that it's going to end up being a high ankle, which is going to sideline that man anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And then on top of that, just depending upon how things go, are we going to try to get him out in there after that 4 weeks as quick as possible? Or is this going to be one of those 6-week type of high ankle sprains? So I'm sure we'll know more later on today when Kyle speaks, but just hoping and praying, man, it's not a high ankle or something really bad, because Tatum Bethune was doing some decent things for us there at linebacker on the defense. On the other side of things, special teams, we did really well. How better to start the game, man, than Sky Moore returning 98 yards and getting tackled right there at the 2. I was hoping that man would get in the end zone, but Christian McCaffrey, fantasy team, I was able to get some points right off the bat. It was a very successful sports weekend for the Cayman's Island household. We had the Georgia Bulldogs winning, clobbering Texas. That's a big deal. My Lakers, Luka the Don, beating the Bucks in Milwaukee. That was nice. And, of course, the Niners pulling this one out, won all my fantasy games. It's just a real good sports weekend. very enjoyable. Not to boast or anything, but it was rather nice. The bad piece about special teams is our man, Eddie De Niro, Big Money Pinero, appears that he may have tweaked a hammy. Don't know how severe that is, but what hurts is that for once, I feel like at all three phases, we were able to really play well. Again, I know the defense giving up that NFL record 47 completions. That's what a lot of people are going to talk about. We were just playing soft. I assure you, if that game were closer, it wouldn't have been like that. But we did things well at all phases of the game. Special teams, I know Eddie had a missed extra point and he had another one blocked, but he made his field goals. Man, you can miss an extra point. Okay, if that's the worst thing you're going to do, Eddie, is get an extra point blocked or miss an extra point. Yesterday was like contagious in the league. It was one of those weeks where everybody was getting an extra point blocked or missing an extra point. Big deal is when we needed those 3 points, he put them through the uprights. That's the biggest thing. And now this man is injured. A lot of people feel like during the time Brock was out, Mac was the MVP. I will agree with that. Man, but if there were a close runner-up, Eddie Money, man, really helped us stay in a lot of these games, making kick after kick after kick. Very impressed with what he's been able to do. My hope and my prayer is that the 49ers for once go, you know what? We've got a good field goal kicker. Let's sign this man to a deal. We want to draft kickers in the 3rd round and do all this other craziness. I don't care if the man's out 4 weeks because of his hamstring situation. Whatever it is, you keep this man. You don't let this man go again. You pay this kicker. Please pay this man. Give this man his dues and his reward for how well he's played for us this season. With regard to just a quick look ahead at next week, we do play the Carolina Panthers at home. And I've already seen some stuff already with, oh man, if we allowed Jacoby Brissett to have 47 completions and over 400 yards, man, and Bryce Young coming off of this over 400-yard performance, we're doomed, this, that, and the other. Look, if you pay attention to anything that's gone on with Carolina this year, and don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here watching game film on them by any stretch, but Bryce Young is very Jekyll and Hyde-like in the sense of he'll have a monster game and then have a game where it's like, who is this guy? Why is this guy even in the NFL? Now, I know similarly, folks will say the 49ers have one loss, and this is where it should go. This is where we're at, guys. I feel like our offense is going to have to carry us the remainder of this season. I feel like this offense can average 30 points a game. For all intents and purposes, Ricky Pearsall didn't have a great game. We still don't have Brandon Ayuk back. I think that as the weeks go on, we're only going to get better in that regard. We're running the ball. We're opening things up. Brock is only going to get more confident, even more confident in his legs. And the Carolina Panthers defense, I think we're going to be absolutely just fine. In other words, just as a quick preview, and I'll have another show later in the week to break down my projections, thoughts, and scores and stats and all that stuff. But what I'm feeling right now is it doesn't matter. We'll outscore the Panthers, the end, and we'll get a win. Right now, it's only about wins and losses. It's only about trying to set ourselves up for the best position to be as healthy as possible come playoff time. It would be absolutely fantastic if the Rams would do us a favor and lose a few games and we can maybe win this division so that way we could play a home playoff game. But things are wide open right now. You have the Eagles. If I'm not mistaken, if the playoffs were to start today, and it's crazy to say this because I think a lot of people didn't anticipate this, but if the playoffs started today, the Detroit Lions would not make the playoffs. So we have a lot of games left, a lot of season left, a lot of big games left. And fortunately, we've been able, with all the injuries, to make it where we needed to make it in order to reel off some wins. We play the Panthers, we play the Titans, we play the Browns. And I want to be very clear, that Browns game is not going to be easy. In fact, I can't even tell you guys, maybe the 80s, the last time the 49ers won a game in Cleveland. And Brock has struggled, man, against Cleveland. Last time we played in Cleveland was that game, I believe, where Brock had 2 picks, and we just couldn't get it done in that game. It was tough. I'm really looking forward to Brock being able to redeem himself in this one, and I think he's only going to get better. Again, my prediction is that we are 10-4 after this 4-game streak, and we really just need to, out of those last 3 games, Colts, Bears, and Seahawks, really just get one of those, and I think we make the playoffs. But hey, tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you think in the comments. Is there anything else that you want to call out that you were pleasantly surprised with from the outcome of this game, 41-22 San Francisco? Did you guys think Brock played as well as I think he played? I give Brock an A performance, right? How can you not? Completed 73% of his passes, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. What else could you want outside of I would have liked to just see that burst from him when he's moving around in the pocket? But I definitely think he'll get there. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the show today, please remember to like and subscribe because it definitely helps out the channel. As always, guys, take care, be blessed, go Niners.